Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Steve,
And I'm Scott.
and together we're Backyard Musings, broadcasting from Apple Valley, California. We're inside. We're not in the backyard because it's really blustery, so that would affect the sound. So we're on the soundstage.
Yeah, and we are still the Science and Technology channel.
Yeah, this is really cool. What we're talking about this afternoon. What you can see on your screen here is the ITER uh, fusion reactor, and it's a cut section of the finished product. It's in production now, expected to come online shortly, if not this year, then next year. But I just wanted you to see there's 5 levels to this. There's a basement level 2, basement level 1. If you look on the right side, level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. So this is a big boy. It's not like one of these modular things that you pull off the assembly line. This is a big, huge infrastructure here. In a breakthrough for sustainable energy, the International ITER project has completed the components for the world's largest superconducting magnet system, designed to confine a superheated plasma and generate 10 times more energy than it consumes. This electromagnetic heart of the Tokamak, created through cooperation among 30 plus nations, is a triumph of both science and diplomacy. Would you like to know more?
That's a big deal in itself right there. 30 nations involved in this thing. So
Yeah.
cool. In a major leap toward clean energy, the International ITER project has finished building the world's largest and most powerful pulsed semi or superconducting magnet system, designed to help unlock the same kind of energy that powers the sun. ITER is a massive collaboration between more than 30 countries, all working together to prove that fusion energy can be safe, limitless, and carbon-free power source for the planet.
So, yeah. The final piece.
Got to have everybody's approval on this one, right?
Yeah, it's a big collaboration. And even though it's in France, and the people of France are going to directly benefit from this fusion plant, all of the technology is shared among the 30 nations. So we can come back and we can build our own. Korea, Japan, Russia, they can go build their own. The final piece of the puzzle, a towering central solenoid magnet built and tested in the United States, is strong enough to lift an aircraft carrier. Once installed, so you set it on the aircraft carrier, and it's going to lift the aircraft carrier a little bit. Once installed at the ITER facility in southern France, it will serve as the powerhouse of the fusion reactor, working along 6 giant ring-shaped magnets from Russia, Europe, and China. With all these hands in the in the pot, there's no recipe for disaster there whatsoever. A lot of moving parts, you know.
Yeah, some of those players I'd be concerned about, but whatever.
Yeah, altogether the magnet system will weigh nearly 3,000 tons. It forms the electromagnetic heart of ITER's Tokamak, a futuristic donut-shaped reactor that aims to replicate the energy of the stars here on Earth. Go to the next slide here. All right.
This is how this pulsed superconducting electromagnet system works. Step 1, a few grams of hydrogen fuel, deuterium and tritium gas are injected into ITER's gigantic Tokamak chamber. They need to change that to Tokamak.
I know.
Step 2, the pulsed magnet system sends an electrical current to ionize the hydrogen gas, creating a plasma, a cloud of charged particles. Step 3, the magnets create an invisible cage that creates and confines and shapes the ionized plasma. Step 4, external heating systems raise the plasma temperature to 150 million degrees Celsius, 10 times hotter than the core of the sun. I don't know how they know that, but okay. And step 5, at this temperature, the atomic nuclei of plasma particles combine and fuse, releasing massive heat energy. And then we go to slide 3, right?
Yeah, it just blows my mind that much heat here on the Earth, 10 times the sun. How do you contain it? You know, how do you contain it?
Is that going to be an issue if that thing breaks apart or breaks up, or?
Well, it'll if something happens, they'll shut it down, and then they'll have to take time to let it cool, and then go in and fix whatever's broken.
Yeah.
Or maintenance, whatever. needs to be done. Um,
Again, who thinks up this stuff? This is amazing.
all right, let me. So what's on your screen is like the actual construction that's taking place now, and that's in the pit. So you can see basement level 2, basement level 1, and then level 1, and part of level 2. So this thing is huge. It's at least 50 feet, maybe 60 feet tall, the whole thing. All right, let's go to the next slide here. All right. At full operation, ITER is expected to produce 500 megawatts of fusion power from only 50 megawatts of input heating power, a tenfold gain. At this level of efficiency, the fusion reaction largely self-heats, becoming a burning plasma by integrating all the systems needed for fusion at industrial scale. ITER is serving as a massive, complex research lab for its 30-plus member countries, providing the knowledge and data needed to optimize commercial fusion power.
In 2024, ITER reached 100% of its construction targets.
That's cool.
Yeah, with most of the major components delivered, the ITER Tokamak is now in assembly phase. In April 2025, the first vacuum vessel sector module was inserted into the Tokamak pit about 3 weeks ahead of schedule. Obviously, the government's not involved in this.
Exactly.
The past 5 years have witnessed a surge in private sector investment in fusion energy, R&D. In November 2023, the ITER Council recognized the value and opportunity represented by this trend. So
I was going to say we should get these head honchos to come over here to California to do the bullet train thing.
yeah, we don't want that. I mean,
On schedule, on budget.
you know how many businesses are going to get affected by that bullet train to the negative? Every business from here to Las Vegas is going to be affected by that in a negative way. I don't know if they've even thought about that.
You
It's
mean
great,
once it's completed?
great for Vegas, but you think about all the restaurants, all the gas stations, car shops that do repairs on cars and stuff.
You mean because it's not going to be completed?
Well, no, because if it is completed, and I'm not pressuring for it to be completed, but it's gonna really affect a bunch of businesses negatively, jobs, and that's a tough deal. I mean, I don't go that way. When I do go that way, I drive, and Vegas is a blur for me. But I know a lot of people travel there, but it's going to affect the airline industry, people flying up there and back. Anyway, that's a totally different story. But I mean, as far as completing stuff, yeah, the government is, and private sector is usually up because there's usually incentives. So
Yeah.
but
Okay, moving on with our presentation. They encourage the ITER organization and its domestic agencies to actively engage with the private sector to transfer ITER's accumulated knowledge to accelerate progress toward making fusion a reality.
in 2024, ITER launched a private sector fusion engagement project with multiple channels for sharing knowledge, documentation, data, and expertise, as well as collaboration on R&D. This tech transfer initiative includes sharing information on ITER's global fusion supply chain, another way to return value to member governments with their companies. Man,
Okay. In April 2025, ITER hosted a public-private workshop to collaborate on the best technological innovation to solve fusion's remaining challenges. The ITER experiment is under construction in southern France. The Tokamak building that you see here is the mirrored structure at the center, and you can see the flags of some of the countries flying. And it's really cool to see those tower cranes, because when you see tower cranes, there's construction going on, there's industry, there's business, there's work. It's really cool.
Yeah. Under the ITER agreement, members contribute most of the cost of building ITER in the form of building and supplying components. This arrangement means that financing from each member goes primarily to their own companies to manufacture ITER's challenging technology. In doing so, these companies also drive innovation and gain expertise, creating a global fusion supply chain. So
Yeah, so other people that are trying to create fusion will learn from the mistakes. It's like a learning process.
like
Um,
buying it's like buying the first edition of a car.
yeah,
You
or
don't buy,
laptop computer. Yeah.
anything brand new. You want to wait maybe one or two generations in before you.
Yep.
Yeah,
Europe, as the host member, contributes 45% of the cost of the ITER Tokamak and its support systems. China, India, Japan, Korea, Russia, and the United States each contribute 9%, but all members get access to 100% of the intellectual property, which is really cool.
yeah.
Really cool.
No, so that building looks almost like it could be like the United Nations, right, with all those flags out in front of it. So
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
I
Yeah,
wonder how many cities it's going to power. Yeah, I'd be fascinated to know that.
yeah, and again, is this going to be something that our friends, our beloved friends, the Southern California Edisons and the PG&Es and some of these other companies are going to be shaking in their boots about?
Well, it takes a lot of money to build this, so I mean, with all these countries contributing the different components, I don't know. I think the United States would pick a location, would have to pick one, maybe based on population to serve. Like Hoover Dam services Henderson and Vegas. They'd have to do a similar thing.
Right, or what if you put it in Colorado or Kansas, where it's kind of in the middle of the country, and then you could just run power lines out, or you could use the grid that's already there. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to transfer power. I mean,
Well, you could put it smack in between San Diego and Los Angeles, and it powers both of those communities and all the cities in between. That would be cool.
yeah. If I were doing this, I wouldn't put it in California. I mean,
No,
unless I wanted to put the power companies out of business, which I'm all for that. So, but yeah, then you could just take over their power grid and their lines to use to transfer it, and all that's already there. So,
well, I'm sure the California Public Utilities Commission would have their fingers in this if it was brought to California.
if you let them, yeah, or
They'd
just
have to.
put it across state line and then just you know
Oh, like Arizona,
pump it in through
New Mexico.
through the black market.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm all for getting rid of our local power companies. So, but if you still subscribe to us, that's fine.
Speaking of power, I was talking with Shersti, my wife, about because she was wanting to know how much we spent for powering the cars, and so I've been since I modified the system, I have to get a permission to operate from SoCal Edison. So working through that, I saw that in the last year, 12 months, we took 16,900 kilowatt hours from the grid. And if you take that at the cheapest cost, which is 24 cents, that's about maybe $5,000 that we spent in electric last year. But when we still had our gas vehicles, I tracked those receipts. It was like 9,500 for two vehicles
For fuel?
for fuel. Plus we had to pay electric bill for regular electric. So now we've got the cars, electric cars, and regular electric mixed into that $4,000 or $5,000. So it is still cheaper in California to.
So like we were talking about, what was it we were talking about? Those little generators, those site specific generators. Remember, we talked about that a few months ago.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll be able to put one of these in your backyard.
I'd love that. Yeah, and it doesn't. Yeah, that generator didn't matter where you put it because it was collecting photons or whatever
Right.
from the sun. So it didn't have to be in daylight.
Yeah. So this is cool.
All right,
Man,
folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the morning.
take care, everyone. Thanks.